Hello everybody, my name's Dr. John Hobson from the University of Gloucestershire, and we're here today talking with Alma, myself and Ben. Ben is a volunteer facilitator at Restorative Gloucestershire, and so is Alma. I'm going to talk a bit about restorative justice, how Alma, how you found yourself working in RJ, and what you think about RJ as a process.
Yep.
So Ben's got the first question for you.
Brilliant. So Alma, I was just wondering if you'd tell us a bit about yourself and how you actually got into restorative justice as well.
Right. Well, you can hear from my accent that I'm Dutch. And I have been working for the last 10 years, maybe 11 by now, in our local women's prison, Eastwood Park. And what I see there is a lot of very vulnerable people who are all told by the judge, you're guilty, and actually they left with that. And because the criminal justice system in the Netherlands is very different, I was looking for quite a while, or I want to stay there because what I do there I think is valuable, but I also wanted to look for a way that one can actually prevent some people going into prison, or if they go into prison, give them the possibility to actually amend. And that's how slowly but steadily I came to restorative justice. Brilliant.
Excellent answer. Are you ready for the second one there, John?
Yeah, so perhaps Alma, could you tell us a little bit about what you do within that role? How does it work in the prison, the restorative process that you're involved with?
Well, the restorative, I started off actually when an organization, I think they were called Sycamore, they wanted to do some restorative groups and they wanted some volunteers. So I volunteered for them, I don't know, for about 5 or 6 groups.
Yeah.
And although I thought it was very, very valuable, I had a little bit problem with the sort of very religious side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and then at some point they didn't actually have any funding anymore, so that was the end of them coming to Eastwood Park. And so then I was looking, is there another way that I can get involved? And through that I heard a talk by Becky Beard, wonderful Becky, and then I joined, did some courses and joined, must be about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So when you're in the prison and you're working with the with the women there, what's the how is it? Is it one-to-one work? Are you doing group work? I mean, how does it change? I mean, what's the format of the process?
What my job there is as a recoup worker, so that is working with people over 50, and I'm the only one who actually works in a prison with women, the recoup worker. And then I also do bereavement counseling.
Right.
And of course, at the moment, through this whole COVID thing, we just have to be very flexible and see what we can do and what we can't do.
Yeah, yeah. So will you is there facilitation with, between victims and offenders there? Or is there letter work involved, or is it primarily sort of one-on-one between you and the
actually I have done a case of a woman that was in Eastwood Park, meeting up with her mother, who actually first met up with a victim, and then after that she wanted to meet up with her mother, who was looking after her 4 children.
Right. Yeah. Powerful stuff then as well, and
it was very, very powerful, very powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you're finding that the women get a lot from it. Is it something that you see having a big impact on their lives?
Well, if we can do it, I mean. Of course, at the moment, we're not really doing anything of that sort.
Because of COVID.
And actually, Paul and Jane have been in to give a restorative course. And we'd hoped that we would have some more people coming out of that, but then COVID started, so.
Yeah, very difficult. Thank you. I mean, it sounds absolutely fascinating, but you're right. I think a lot of these, these projects have you know, taking a back seat, you know, as people are dealing with the emergency, you know, of COVID there as well.
Yeah.
I'll
And I
pass you back
mean,
to Ben.
we're not doing groups at the moment. We hardly do any groups. So, you know.
Yeah. So actually, are you doing, is there any virtual work going on? Has COVID just put a stop to it? Is there any sort of secondary work? Or?
At the moment, there is in Eastwood Park, as far as I know, there is no restorative justice work going on.
Yeah.
But hopefully, you know, we can start that again at some point.
Yeah, it would be good. I mean, because it has had like you see, it has had some very powerful effects with people. So it'd be good to see that going again. Yeah. So I'll pass back to Ben then for the next question.
Brilliant. So my next question for you, Alma, is what does restorative justice mean to you?
Well, restoring situations that are a bit, that are not right, both for the offender and the perpetrator. And, you know, often I can actually see that the perpetrator is also a victim, especially in a women's prison, of course. Yeah. And on the other hand, you know, I've had lately some cases with 12, 13-year-olds. So to keeping them out of the criminal justice system to actually repair something before it gets out of hand and they end up in the justice system. Because I think once they end up there, it's very difficult to get them out of it again. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. And then have you seen that change over time? Like, how has what restorative justice mean to you, like, changed or evolved over time, like especially through your work as well?
I think the only change was that, well, it seems that at the moment I am more involved with cases, families, or children, or, you know, sort of 13, 14-year-olds.
Oh, brilliant. And then I'll hand you back over to John for the fourth question.
Yeah, well, we were going to ask you a bit about RJ and COVID, but certainly we talked a bit about that in terms of the prison, but then maybe in terms of the work that you're doing with young people then as well. I mean, you know, has COVID particularly impacted upon that, and perhaps how people are feeling, and perhaps how that work takes place?
Well, we're still, I mean, for a while we were not meeting face to face, but now at Waterwells we are actually meeting face to face again, you know, and once we're in a meeting we can take these silly muscles off. But it is not as easy or as flexible at the moment as it was before, you know. I have to look after myself. Yeah, I don't want to get it, nor do I want to be the person who actually takes it into the prison. And, you know, one really has to know where has a person been before you meet them. So yes, it does influence actually. Maybe more than we think, you know, more than we actually realize at the moment.
Yeah. Is it, you know, making it, I mean, is it, you know, are you finding the nature of cases is changing a bit as well with the current circumstances, or, you know, people's responses perhaps to, you know, those kind of events?
Yeah. Well, I have at the moment only 2 cases, and both we've been working at for quite a while already. So, you know, I don't see the referrals that come in. So.
Yeah, it's amazing the impact it's had on, you know, all those different, you know, aspects of society as well as.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pass you back to Ben then, if you wanna. We've got one last question for you.
So the final question for you, Alma, is what do you see as the future of restorative justice, and do you think it will change much, or whether it just keep the same?
No, I hope it will grow and grow and grow, and that the criminal justice system will get smaller and smaller and smaller, you know, because I think when I think of the criminal justice system, I think it really has the right word in front of it, criminal. You know, it should be social justice. And I think restorative justice could actually also help with social justice. And hopefully we can have less people actually ending up in prisons. And I think also what I have seen with the cases is that with restorative justice, however difficult it is, and I think it might even be more difficult for people than criminal justice system, it's really difficult where you actually have to face somebody and you have to say sorry or meet them. But in the end, I think they grow in self-esteem and confidence. And that's not what happens really in the criminal justice system. So yeah, my hope is that at some point I can't have a job anymore in the prisons, because the prisons don't exist anymore for women, and we do more and more restorative work. Definitely.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's definitely a hopeful thing to aim for, I think, as well.
Yeah, yeah.